Welcome to Market Matters. I'm Nadia Hassan together with Sulhi Azman. It is day 2 of the Nadia and Sulhi show, and today it's been a very, very interesting day because I think the markets are still looking for a little bit of direction. In the meantime, they're still going up. We're looking at today's Google Doodle. You put this in. I found it quite interesting. Apparently, if you look at today's Google Doodle, it's the 41st anniversary of discovery of Lucy, a skeleton found about 41 years in Ethiopia. Saying that is if you believe in Darwinism.
Yeah, if you believe in the fact that
we are
the concept of evolve. Yeah, according to reports, almost 40% of Lucy's skeleton remain intact, particularly rare occurrence given most fossils of the age normally found shattered and fragmented.
Well, okay, it's basically the story in the evolution of human beings. But if you actually go on the road, sometimes I wonder if any of us are evolved. But anyway, besides that point, looking at the market being evolved, 6 points up or 0.37% higher to 1,677.03. It actually tracked again strong regional performance. I think that's the story that we're going to hear this week. 373 counters closed up though, compared to the 573 that actually went down. And the market participants became quite buoyant. I think the story of today is the story of the ringgit. It actually went in focus. It actually had some strengthening. MIDF had something to say about it too.
Well, MIDF has always been a concern on the ringgit movement and tie up with the recent debacle in the country's issue, particularly the 1MDB. And MIDF said that the recent 1MDB power sale to China, which we'll talk later today, would actually maybe give positive impacts to the ringgit. And they said that the ringgit should be currently traded at 3 ringgit and 70 cents against the US dollar.
That is very low.
Very low, very optimistic. But
exactly.
To be fair, ringgit used to be 3 ringgit and 30 until...
Yeah, but that was when the oil was better and there wasn't a lot of negative sentiment. But yeah, the ringgit is being battered. I did talk recently to Standard Chartered's chief investment guy, Steve. He actually did say that he thinks it's a little bit overdone. So when things, inevitably when things go up, things will go down. So let's see how this holds, and we'll talk about that sale in a minute. Looking at Shanghai, up 0.16% to 3616. Nikkei also up 0.23%. People said it was a little bit lifeless. People are saying that maybe when BOJ has their minutes tomorrow, we'll have a better indication of how it goes. But moving on to our hot stock of the day, we have teased you long enough about this. Well, actually not that long. Tenaga Nasional Bhd up 1.19% to 1358. At one point it was up 2% a little bit. Volumes fairly modest, but why? But this is a market mover, so when it moves, everybody makes a lot of sense. And why? This is the funny thing. Usually stocks move when you seal a deal. In this way, the stock moved when it didn't seal the deal.
It has lost a bit, Nadia, as was in the news recently. 1MDB has announced yesterday that it has sold the power plant held by its subsidiary Adra to China Nuclear Power Corporation Berhad.
1MDB lah.
1MDB is correct, for an equity value of 9.83 billion ringgit, which means that Tenaga Nasional, which is controlled by Tenaga Nasional Bhd,
National
has
Power Provider,
lost the bid.
Yes, but I don't think anybody's that unhappy because you were looking at their share price, and the share price was very depressed. So you talked a lot about a lot of analyst reports who said, look, we are worried at how much you'll buy from Edra. There was big words emblazoned on it that said fire sale. Because of course, you know how 1MDB is and the issues that actually surround it. So I think people were glad. The fact that it went up means that people were glad that they had dodged the bullet. So who was the actual savior of this? I mean, I say that in inverted commas, savior.
Yeah, I mean, the actual savior for this one,
for 1MDB.
For 1MDB is actually going to be the Chinese leader. But here's the thing, Nadia, there are two issues I would like to raise here. Number one is the fact that selling of strategic assets to foreigners, right, or to the international players, would this not be, some people would be questioning the sovereignty of our country and assets. And these people, the right-wing group, the Malay group, for instance, where are they when
But I think that's a really, really good point. Nobody is making noise.
Yeah.
The fact is you're still selling power plants. Some of it's overseas, yes, but some of them are also home. You're selling them off, strategic assets, and nobody seems to make a peep. Isn't it very, very strange?
It's very weird because of the fact that they actually acquired the power plant from different companies, Genting and so on, right? And then now, they thought they can actually do it. Now they're selling it to Chinese company. Why not sell it to TNB, for instance?
No lah, but then you see that counteracts what we've just said, where even if you wanted to sell it to TNB does have a lot of assets, has a lot of debt, but if they don't sell it, people will say it's something that rhymes with schmelaut. They will say it's something along those lines. So I personally think TNB bit a bullet, was past the bullet, but we'll have to see why aren't people talking about this? If more foreign companies go in, why not? Yeah. Anyway, just to, as much as we can talk to the cows come home about this, just to bring it all home for you, the fact is TNB went up today, and why did it go up? Because it didn't get a contract. The savior is China Nuclear, but the questions that we must raise is strategic assets, access to your country. Aren't people panicking a little bit? Mm-hmm. But moving on quickly to stocks with momentum, we're looking at advanced packaging, and this is what we call a twofer. And a twofer in the sense that it's pegged with negative momentum, but it's also pegged as Insider Asia's stock of the day. Yeah,
okay. If you look at the company, the stock, right, it has actually closed down 1.69% to 2.32, and the company is controlled by Chairman Chee Sam-Fat, who holds a 17%. Now, this is a very interesting thing going on because this company, right, is involved in plastic, and I know a person who actually loves plastic industry who has just left us. But anyway, this company is a beneficiary of the lower raw material costs, and also track in line with the oil price performance.
Yeah, exactly. So our plastics we've been talking about quite a lot because they seem to be a twofer in the sense also that they benefit from stronger USD because they export, and of course the raw material cost, which is oil, which is controlled by oil, usually is actually going down. So everybody's been looking among them for somebody who is not so expensive at the moment. Yes, they're pegged with negative momentum. I think that means in the short term, you won't be any movement. But Insider Asia is nothing if solid. They do say that they like it. They say it's undemanding, the fact that the yields are attractive at about 5%. I think for them that's the bigger draw rather than short-term capital gain.
Exactly. And if you look at APTB or the advanced packaging, they have actually very resilient because they actually make packaging for the F&B sectors, for instance, instant noodles, snack foods, sweets and confectioneries, liquid condiments and frozen foods. Now, the food sectors, has rightly been pointed out by Insider Asia, are one of the good sectors and resilient sectors.
We've talked about Daibochi before, and that's what's actually been the big benefit of it. But anyway, just to bring it all home, this is advanced packaging, pegged as negative momentum by the Edge Research, but it is a twofer, meaning that it is also Insider Asia's stock of the day. They think it will definitely benefit from the lower raw material costs, and their exposure to the good F&B sector means, they got pretty resilient formats. Saying that negative momentum means it shouldn't move so much in the short term, but I think Insider Asia is looking for a long-term play.